Hi everyone, happy Saturday. I'm just going to jump right on into discussion number one because I'm already late. um, but this week's readings really opened up my mind to what social intelligence is and what it's not, because I kind of had a very vague understanding of emotional intelligence as well as social intelligence and the difference between the two and the importance of it. So, I want to pull out this week's, my three concepts that I want to discuss in this video. I'm going to pull them out of this book, particularly chapter 2. That chapter really just opened my mind and really helped me to kind of grasp what social intelligence is and how to really use it in or begin to use it in my leadership abilities. So, if I were explaining this to someone, I would first tell them, what is emotional intelligence, what is social intelligence, and how are these two different? Emotional intelligence simply is self awareness and self mastery, which the video that was posted in this week's module said, it's the mastery of yourself, knowing your emotions, knowing, or what the book said, your issues. Particularly, it's stated that emotional intelligence is one's understanding and even mastery of one's own reactions and feelings, and knowing how to utilize that for individual development. Now, social intelligence, on the other hand, is how you are perceived by other people and strategically knowing how to play that in advantage of being an effective person, being an effective leader, and really just knowing how to interact with other people in a meaningful way. And as far as leadership goes, knowing how to interact with people to get them to one, like you, or not even so much like you, but want to follow you, and almost making yourself attractive to other people in a sense of, okay, I'm your leader. I want you to work with me. I want us to interact effectively, and I want us to make growth in this organization. So, pretty much in a nutshell, that's what those two are, and I feel like that is important because as a leader, you don't want to be against your followers. You want them to want to follow you, but you have to be strategic in how you present yourself and how you convey, reasons why they should follow you. And the book, which I'll get into in a few minutes, talks about ways that you can make yourself more authentic or more social aware of, in order to help want people to want to follow you as a leader in order to be effective. The next thing that I want to talk about is, what goes into being, to knowing your social intelligence and what's important. In the book, in chapter 2, talked about 5 dimensions of social intelligence, and the first one is presence. And I think that is vital. Your presence is the first thing people are going to notice. Your presence speaks volumes. It speaks for you. You don't have to say a word. Your demeanor, the way you dress, the way you present yourself, the way you stand, the way you shake a person's hand, just so many different nonverbal aspects communicate who you are without you ever saying a word. And so I think that is definitely a way, if you have a strong presence and want something that's attractive, that's one way you're going to be perceived by other people. Whether you're weak or whether you're strong, people can just see you and say, okay, I know what this person represents just by looking at you. Another thing is clarity. Let's see. Being clear. I don't know about you, but when it comes to me following people, I want to know, what do you expect? What are your expectations? What do what do you want from me? Be clear, because if you send me, around in circles, then no telling what you're going to get. So I feel like it's very vital as a leader to be precise let people know what your expectation is, because you can't assume nothing. You cannot say, oh, well, I mean, I just assumed you knew what I was talking about. No, if you aren't clear, people aren't going to know what you're talking about. Set that expectation, be clear, and that alone is going to want people to follow you, because they know, like, I know Jasmine is very cut and dry, or I know Jasmine is going to say A, B, C, this needs to be done, this is when it needs to be done. So being clear, being aware is critical. I have been around people who it blew my mind that they were not just socially aware, and they didn't know how to respond in social situations because they were just kind of clueless. So being aware of what's going on around you, the people around you, and it says awareness is the ability to read people in the moment and respond with behaviors that fit the situation. Vital. I mean, like I said, personal experience, it blew my mind to be around people. I'm just like, that wasn't appropriate, or your statement was not fitting in the moment. Your joke was not, it didn't need to be said, or just different things and people really are clueless. I almost consider awareness as common sense almost, and you need that. You can't just function off of book sense. You need both. Authenticity, vital again. You want to be authentic. Knowing yourself and being true to yourself, you have to show that to people, because how can they respect someone that's not real? And how can they respect someone or relate to someone that's fake, a phony? And I feel like it's harder to put on a show or a fake or a mask, because you constantly have to keep up with that. But when you just give yourself who you are, you don't have to constantly think about, what you're doing, or, what show am I going to put on today, and just be real, because people will respect that. And I feel like I, as a leader or a follower, I want to be around other people who are real, who are authentic, who are relatable. The fifth one, empathy. It's just being genuine. I can't say I can speak for myself. I love people who are genuine, and you can feel it. You can feel it in their words, you can feel it in their voice, you can feel it in their touch, their look, their presence. Being genuine goes so far, and people want to be around other people who are just simply genuine, who care, who understand, who understands, who empathizes, who communicate, and I see where you're coming from, we're on the same page, and just it gives you a sense of confidence, and it gives you a sense of again, going back to social intelligence, the way you perceive people, or the way people perceive you, you're just attracted to someone who's caring and who has your best interest at heart, and you're not really attracted or wanting to be around people who are just cold, who don't care about who you are as a person. They only care about what you are able to bring to the table as far as the job is concerned. People don't want to be around that. At least for me, I don't. So that are the 5 dimensions of being social intelligent. And also in chapter 2, I'm going to be really quick because I'm already over my time. I'm already late. So how to boost your social intelligence in 7 days. I thought that was a great practice that we can start in order to make sure that we understand who we are and who we're not as a leader when it comes to our social intelligence. Because we may think, oh yeah, I'm a good person, people like me, I think I give off a good vibe, but really we may not. So, and I think until we take a intentional look at ourselves and how we perceive others, and how others really perceive us, not what we think, but actually getting real input from people who are working around us all day, that's how we can begin to be socially aware and see where we stand as a leader, as a person, when it comes to how other people perceive us. And we can begin working towards strengthening our strengths and strengthening our weaknesses. And I would tell my person that read these tips, because they're pretty good about just developing yourself and being more socially aware. I think it's so important as a leader in my profession, because I'm going to work with people. I don't want to be somebody who's isolated and works in an office and no one else and just my computer. I want to work with people, and I want people to want to work with me, and I want people to want to like, for me, I want to be either an advisor or a counselor or someone who works closely with students, whether high school or college students, and I want them to share their story with me. I want them to share their strengths, their struggles, their questions, their concerns. And in order to do that, I have to, I work with different people every single day, and how I approach this person is going to be different how I approach another person, and I want them to perceive me as someone that, okay, listen, I know she cares about me. I know she wants to help me. I want to open up to her. I want to work with her. And in order to do that, it's going to start with me first. It's not going to start with them. It's going to start with me and how I present myself. And I just need to know, have a true understanding of where I stand and who I am coming off as to other people. And so I think that's why it's so important to be to have a good hold on my social intelligence as I progress through my career. So I'm way over the time, so I'm going to stop now. Yeah, so thank you.